So men's 50 freestyle will be next up. And again, we've got 11 heats of that one. And there are 4 swimmers lined up for heat number 1. Entry times all in the 27-second range. So they'll be looking to improve on that. And away they go. Miles Lapsley in 3, Liam Nelson in 4, Matthias Rietveld in 5, and Matthew Fennick in 6. And in the yellow cap of Stirling, it's Liam Nelson with Matthew Fennick of East Kilbride in lane 6, his main challenger. These two pretty much side by side. In fact, possibly Matthew Fennick maybe just edging this now as they come down towards the finish. You can just see how close that is as they come in. But it was Liam Nelson who take it, really nailing his finish there, 27.44. So he takes around a quarter of a second off his entry time. Second, Matthew Fennick, 27.68, with Miles Lapsley third, 28.02. On to heat 2. Empty lane in lane 2. So we have Ross Neely in 1, Kyle Pate in 3, Thomas Harrison in 4, Stuart Brody in 5, Sam Bissett in 6, Liam Harkin in 7, and Connor Walsh in 8. So this time it's lanes 3 and 4 making the pace, particularly lane 4, Thomas Harrison, who looks to be the favourite for here. You can see he's clearly ahead as they come into the wall there, 26.02. Second place, Kyle Pate, half a second back, 26.53, and another half a second to Liam Harkin, 27.04. Comparatively big range of times there for a 50, but a nice improvement of about 1.4 for Thomas Harrison. He'll be very happy with that. So on to heat number 3 now. Alistair Duns goes in 1, 2 is Finley Hart, 3 Scott Lilburn, 4 Scott Birtles, 5 is Aaron Muir, Thomas Balfour in 6, Cameron McCall in 7, and Callum MacDonald in 8. So you can see a strong start there in lane 6. Bells Hills, Thomas Balfour. Beside him, Aaron Muir. They look like they're going to be 1 and 2. And again, a very clear win there for Thomas, 26.30. Another good improvement on his entry time of 27.25. Second, Aaron Muir, 27.07, with Scott Birtles third, 27.43. In fact, another tie for third. We're seeing a number of ties there. On to heat 4. So heat 4, John Keane in 1, Angus Brawley in 2, Kieran Bryan in 3, Callum Warnock in 4, Connor Searle in 5, Alistair Cormack in 6, Jimmy Smith in 7, and Joe Penman in 8. This time lane 2, Angus Brawley of Mulgay Bearsden has a very clear advantage. Lane 5 going well as well, Connor Searle, but well, it is lane 2, Angus Brawley, 26.23. So seeing consistent low 26s in the last 3 heats now. All good improvements on entry times to win the 3 heats. Connor Searle, 26.52, 26.66. Jimmy Smith third. Heat 5, Jonah Walsh in 1, George Mansfield in 2, Joseph Miley in 3, Dylan Somerville in 4, Douglas Kelly in 5, Casper Lusak in 6, Owen Strachan in 7, and Richard Laird in 8. Richard Laird, the distance specialist, showing some sprint skills here in lane 8, and he looks to have the advantage here. As they come in, you can see he's clearly ahead. And wow, that was a strong swim, 25.53. About 1.4 inside his entry time, and very much the fastest we've seen so far. Joseph Miley second, and Dylan Somerville third, a tenth apart, 26.36 and 26.46. Richard Laird there, showing some real sprint speeds. It'll be very interesting to see what he brings into the distance event later on. Got men's 1500 coming up. I'm sure he'll be there. Heat 6. James Thompson goes in 1. Fraser Wilson in 2. Carl Barrett in 3. Cameron McCloskey in 4. Callum McBeath in 5. Jamie Murray in 6. Mitchell Anderson in 7. Oscar Heald in 8. And start from Mitchell Anderson, the East Lothian swimmer. But, well, maybe signs that he's being caught by lane 4 in particular, Cameron McCloskey. Well, this is going to be very close between these two. I think Cameron's going to take it. He does. 26.09. Just strong at the death there, Cameron McCloskey, rather. The Kinross swimmer. Mitchell Anderson second, and Carl Barrett takes third. Heat 7. Next up. So it really is fast and furious here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. We have Logan Eason in 1, Ross Gale in 2, Nino Del Rio in 3, Michael Irwin in 4, Keir Edgar in 5, Sean Luke Diggins in 6, Christopher Frobisher in 7, and Michael Lamb in 8. Another cracking swim out of lane 2, Ross Gale of Edinburgh University, and he's going to win this by a big margin, coming in 25.02. That's the new fastest time. And another big improvement over a second for Ross. Certainly seeing the improvements coming through strongly here. Chris Frobisher gets under the 26 seconds, 25.96, and Nino Del Rio third, 26.08. Just getting ready now for heat number 8. Matthew King, Carnegie in 1, Greg Rowe, Carnegie in 2, Callum Archibald, University of Stirling in 3, Jamie Eason of Stirling in 4, Angus Nichols, City of Glasgow in 5, Gregor Swinney of Peebles in 6, Archie Goodburn, Warrender in 7, and Youssef Bettert of Larkhall in 8. This one is much closer. Lane 6 is up there. Is he going to take it? Yes, he is. Gregor Swinney, the Peebles man, 25.72. Pretty much bang on his entry time, 25.68. Matthew King just behind him by 300s, 25.75, and another 300s to Jamie Eason in third, 25.78. Certainly one of the tighter races we've seen as we get ready for heat number 9. And in heat 9, we have Finlay Deans in 1, Audi Hasuna in 2, Craig McLean in 3, David Cumberledge in 4, Scott McClay in 5, Alex Forsyth in 6, Scott Gibson in 7, and Mark Hill in 8. David Cumberledge has shown real strong form, finest in the British Championships in Glasgow, but it looks like Scott McClay's got the edge on him. That well known, in fact it was David Cumberledge. I was confusing my lanes there. 23.16 for David. So within about 4/10 of his entry time. Second, Craig McLean, and third, Scott McClay. 2 more heats. Scott McDougall in 1, Gavin Haggerwood in 2, Craig McNally in 3, Jack Thorpe in 4, Kieran McGuckin in 5, Jordan Hughes in 6, Cameron Finnerson in 7, and Tom Bealey in 8. So the 2 centre lanes, the 2 Edinburgh Uni guys, Jack Thorpe and Kieran McGuckin, doing battle here. Looks like Jack has got the advantage, and he takes it 23.47. Another British Championship finalist, Jack Thorpe. He was 6th in that, and he'll be in the final here later on. Second, Kieran McGuckin. Third, Jordan Hughes. Final heat Fraser Meadows in 1, Ross Leslie in 2, Jack Sharanek in 3, Richard Schaefer's in 4, Callum Bain in 5, Solomon Butt in 6, Toby Douglas in 7, Angus Barr in 8. And it's the Scottish record holder Richard Schaefer's who's dominating this one from Callum Bain. But Schaefer's really pushing it on here and comes in 22.93. So that's a storming swim there. Callum Bain taking second, 23.62. Solomon Butt takes third, 24.34.